History Fast Facts, the election of 1800. If you thought that presidential campaigns in modern day are the worst, then that is, frankly, fake news. Sorry, I'm not really that great at impressions, and my hands aren't really small enough to do that one. The election of 1800 was more of a revolution than anything else, and it was one of the most important in US history. Although it's been made into a catchy musical number recently, at the time, many people thought that the fate of the nation itself hung in the balance. It pitted Federalists John Adams and Thomas Pinckney against Republicans Thomas Jefferson and Aaron Burr. Now, Adams and Pinckney had won the election in 1796, but the administration had been fraught with issues. First, the Alien and Sedition Acts tried to censor anti-administration voices that they deemed dangerous, and Jefferson called this administration a reign of witches, likening the new witch hunt to the Salem witch trials. The second major scandal was the Xyz Affair, and although Adams handled it pretty well and saved the US from going to war, his reputation was tarnished. When campaign season rolled around, things got dirty. Jefferson hired James Callender to run a smear campaign against the Adams administration. His supporters said that Adams had a, quote, hideous, hermaphroditical character, which has neither the force and firmness of a man, nor the gentleness and sensibility of a woman. Wow. They called Adams a hypocrite, a fool, and a tyrant who craved war with France. Now, that last charge was definitely not true because it was Adams who had saved the US from going to war with France. Adams's camp responded, though, throwing it right back and saying that Jefferson was a, quote, mean-spirited, low-lived fellow, the son of a half-breed Indian squaw sired by a Virginia mulatto father. They called Jefferson an atheist, weak, and a coward. Even Martha Washington got involved, saying Jefferson was, quote, one of the most detestable of mankind. Things got so bad that Jefferson's man Callender was actually imprisoned for slander, a charge that was legitimate because his lies were that bold. The election itself had another crisis in voting. At the time, the vice president was chosen based on who had the second most votes. So each party planned to work around it by having one of their electors throw away their vote so that the presidential nominee would come out one vote ahead of the VP. But the Republican elector didn't do it. So Jefferson and Burr had won, but they were both tied with 73 electoral votes. With the tie, the vote was thrown to the House of Representatives, where the Federalists held a slight majority, and they had the option to really screw with the election. After 35 ballots, though, Jefferson won the presidency, and it all was because of a very unlikely source, Hamilton. Yeah, future Broadway phenomenon Alexander Hamilton hated Jefferson, but he believed that the Federalist financial system that he put in place was safer with him in charge. Thus, he pushed his party to support Jefferson, and Jefferson became the third president of the US. Afterwards, there were a lot of grudges to settle. First, Jefferson's slanderous PR manager, Callender, felt that he'd been left hung out to dry by the party. So in 1802, he took Jefferson's relationship with his slave Sally Hemings to the press, and revealed the truth that he had fathered 5 kids with her, something that would hang over Jefferson's head forever. Second, Aaron Burr felt so betrayed by Hamilton that in 1804 he challenged Hamilton to a duel, killed him, and thus became the only VP in history to shoot and kill someone while in office. That we know of. Next, people finally realized that the presidential and vice presidential voting setup was dumb. So Congress passed the 12th Amendment, requiring electors to cast separate votes for president and vice president, which we still have today. Most importantly of all, though, the election of 1800 was a peaceful transition of power from one party to another. Although the campaign had been anything but peaceful, no wars broke out. The Federalists could have resisted, but Adams and his party conceded defeat and set a precedent for future elections. A precedent that would only be broken by the Civil War. Thanks for watching.